the start of the credits. I remember it, so you don't have to. No, wait, that's not me. Hang on, no, wait, rewind, never mind. Yes, Silverbolt here, back with a video. But not a Transformers video. Once again, dear friends, Romans and countrymen, the nerd world is in outrage. From the kingdoms of Battlestar Galactica to the dank pits of Dungeons and Dragons, nerds across the world are shaking their jowls in nerd rage. Why? Because the most influential set of sci-fi films ever to grace our screens is back. And a certain director who has never learnt the value of it's not broke, don't fix it, has made some more changes. I do, of course, refer to the imminent release of Star Wars, all 6 films on Blu-ray! Yes! They're on Blu-ray! Right, a little something about what I think about Blu-ray and 3D high-def blah 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 TV. Right, when it jumps out the screen and gives me a lap dance, then I'll be impressed. Anyway, Star Wars, as most people are aware, is, you know, one of my loves other than Transformers and Mega Man and this, that and the other and lap dances, is back. And it's on Blu-ray with more changes. Right, yeah. I am a Star Wars fan. I read a lot of the universe, you know. I know a lot of random trivia, and, you know, for instance, Cad Bane's race in the Clone Wars, he's called the Duros. You know, it looks like a tag from Warhammer 40k, but we won't go there and make that comparison. Anyway, so yes, all 6 films have once again been released. Well, will be released in the next couple of days. And the nerd rage is growing within so many fans, and all across the world, all we're hearing is, George Lucas is raping my childhood! Because some changes have once again been made. Now, unlike certain purists, a lot of the changes that were made in the Star Wars films, I didn't really mind. When they were re-released and originally remastered, and they got all the fancy stuff coming in, like the CGI X-Wings and TIE Fighters, and they expanded the space battles, and, you know, they got rid of the fact that you can see the AT-ATs through the slats of the cockpit in the Snow Speeders in the Return of the Jedi, in Empire Strikes Back. You know what? I thought that was brilliant. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you can never have too many X-Wings, so I don't really mind that so much. So, you know, by and large, I like the changes that were in the remastered edition of the original trilogy. I even like the fact that Hayden Christensen makes an appearance. Okay, the guy can't act for toffee, but then neither can Mark Hamill. So there we go. Right, I like the fact that he popped up at the end of Return of the Jedi. I thought that was a really nice touch. I'm one of the few, but I thought it was a really nice touch. The biggest gripe I have, as so many people are aware, and there's going to be so many people who are fans of Star Wars who are going to be nodding their head, knowing what I'm going to say. The one thing I didn't like about the remastered edition of the original Star Wars trilogy was the fact that Han shot first. Yes, I am very, very firmly planted. My feet are in the concrete foundations of the Han shot first camp. And it's not because they changed the film. It's not the fact they tinkered with it and it looks decidedly fake, and how bad a bounty hunter is Greedo that he can't shoot a guy in the chest from 4 feet away. He hits the wall. And not even a narrow miss, it's a significant miss. I mean, the alignment crystals on that blaster was, I mean, way off. But there we go. Yes, I'm very much in the camp of Han shot first. And as I said, it's not because they changed the film. It's because I read the EU. And avoiding such horror stories as Splinter of a Mind's Eye, where Luke is basically having sexual fantasies about his sister most of the way through, because it was released before Return of the Jedi and we knew that Luke was Leia's sister. Alan Dean Foster must still be pounding his head off the desk about that. And such horror stories as Death Troopers, which was basically Doom in space. There are some great gems out there, such as The Adventures of Han Solo, which came out in the early 80s. And then you have the Han Solo trilogy, which shows us how closely Han was allied with the Rebellion in the very, very early ages of it. And there's a little bit of a thing that they completely destroyed in the remastered edition of A New Hope, which was Han's a bugger, right? Han Solo was not a nice guy. He was a criminal. He was a smuggler. He had some decent traits that the rebellion later brought out in him, but on the whole, Han was a bugger. He wasn't a nice guy. So it is perfectly feasible that Han Solo would have shot Greedo under the desk and not thought twice about it. But by having Greedo shoot first, it takes away from Han's character that he was a hard-nose. I mean, for God's sake, he practically extorts the price of a trip to Alderaan out of Obi-Wan, Luke, Chewie, no, not Chewie, and the droids. So, you know, he's not that nice. You know, Luke has to play to his greed to get him to help the princess. But there we go. You know, we can keep arguing that one till time immemorial. But never mind. But, so we now have the new remastered edition coming out on Blu-ray! And it is, as I said, sweeping the nerd world by storm, with the purists once again complaining. Right, some of the changes, though it's probably not inexhaustible, because you just know that there's going to be some sad person who's going to have the original copy, the remastered copy, and the new Blu-ray copy, and he's going to play them all simultaneously to see, and by frame, to see what gets changed. Because there are people who live in their parents' basements who will do that. So, what can we expect from the remastered edition? Well, firstly, the Ewoks blink. Yes, the Ewoks blink. So what? They're obviously some kind of mammalian teddy bear thing. It makes perfect sense that they would blink. It doesn't matter that their eyes are clearly made out of plastic. But they'd need to blink. Why wouldn't they blink? I'm fairly sure that when you have the Ewok with it that's at the end of Ray's Squadron, Lara Knoxville says something to it, and it clearly blinks. In fact, I'm sure it does. I just wish I'd been able to pull that out from there. So yes, Lieutenant Ketch all the way. Yup, yup, Commander. Anyway, so yes, the Ewoks now blink. Oh well, they blink. Most creatures blink. What else have we got? The Krayt Dragon noise from A New Hope. Yes, that was originally redone for the remastered version. The fans complained about that. Now, to any non-casual, to any just casual, I'll watch the Star Wars films every now and then. Do you guys know what the hell that noise is Obi-Wan Kenobi makes in A New Hope that drives away the sand crawlers, the sand people? No? Right, I'll now enlighten you. It's the noise of a Krayt Dragon, where this barren, desolate desert world seems to make giant, huge, fearsome predators. Yes, where water is a bigger commodity than gold, giant predators have evolved. And the Krayt Dragon, or the Krayt Dragon, or the Crack Dragon, or however you want to pronounce it, is the most is one of the most fierce. So Obi-Wan Kenobi uses manipulation of the Force to play with his vocal cords a little bit and makes that noise. Sends the sand people running away. George Lucas has basically made it bigger, badder, and scarier. Again, okay, it sounds terrible anyway, because I have heard the sound clip. But then the original one sounded crap, because it made no... Because the problem with it was, yes, it's an alien predator, but, you know, most of the aliens that are in Star Wars anyway, I mean, if you look at the Twi'leks, if you look at the Rodians, you know, if you look at the Gamorreans, they're all basically humans with weird facial features. Okay, the Gamorreans are fat humans with weird facial features, but they're all basically humans with weird facial features. Okay? So, I've actually forgot what my point was going to be. Anyway, yes, so, you know, so it sounds a little weird, and it sounds a little wrong, and it sounds strange, but, oh well. You know what, it's not like he's, you know, fucking superimposed the little kid in Phantom Menace onto Luke Skywalker. Right, okay, other changes that have been made. Apparently he's tinkered a little bit with Empire Strikes Back. You know, the Wampa's arm still a little bit straight. It's supposed to have been fixed, but really actually isn't. They've restored Luke Skywalker's lightsaber back to its proper colours from the 2004 release. Little things like that apparently is what they've done. Obviously, until you've actually seen them all yourself, you're not going to know 100% what they all are. However, it is Return of the Jedi where we really start seeing the nerd rage come to life. Firstly, Han Solo's reanimation from being entrapped in carbonite has been changed and it's now completely CGI. Apparently we see a Dug running across the screen in Jabba's palace that's very, very badly done. For those of you who don't know what a Dug is, which is most of you who aren't as sad as I am when it comes to Star Wars, the Dug is the, remember the little nasty thing that walked on its hands and drove with its feet in A Phantom Menace? The nasty one that's with the big long snout, called Sebulba? That's the Dug. They're not a very nice race, as a matter of fact, for anybody who's watched the Clone Wars. So, anyway, yes, apparently that's been put in there, and it doesn't look very good, so it's going to be right up there with the singing things that everyone thought was very badly done, including myself, because I have to say, I know that the blue elephant thing was basically a big cushion with a man in it, but it looks more realistic than the singing hairy wasp thing. So, there we go. In fact, no, you know what, the woman with 9 tits, if she had 9, I can't remember now, looks more realistic than the guy. I can't remember his name. I don't want to know his name. So yes, we have that change. But then we get to the penultimate change, the biggest change. Now do you remember, to anybody who is old enough to have appreciated the original trilogy when they first came out, or, you know, back in the 80s when they were on every single Christmas, right after The Wizard of Oz, and just before an Indiana Jones film? Yeah? What was the one thing that everybody mocked about Revenge of the Sith? Because we all hated it. I hated it. I'll give you a quick impression. Yeah, we all hated that. It was terrible. It was awful. It is the most mock soundbite in the entirety of Star Wars. And that includes some of the choice of phrases from Jar Jar Binks. But it's back. At the end of Return of the Jedi. You know, the bit where Darth Vader finally realises he loves his son a little bit more, picks up the Emperor, and throws him down the exhaust port. Why there is a big plasma reactor at the bottom of the Emperor's throne room that's just a big gaping hole? That's neither here nor there. Now we get no, in what appears to be a remarkable resemblance to Dara O'Malley ripping off the guy who mourns Snake when Snake dies in Dara O'Malley? Dara O'Brien, who takes the mick out of the Snake guy when Snake dies in Metal Gear Solid. You know, Snape, yeah, whatever. That's been put in there, to the chagrin of many. And I have to admit, I don't like that one myself. I will admit that. I don't like it that much myself. I think it is unnecessary. I think it is not needed. And it's just going to mean that people are going to take the piss. Maybe this is George Lucas' own way of going, you know what, basically turn around to his family and go, pfft. Despite the fact that George Lucas is very, very... Well, you know what, and, you know, there is a very good point to all this. That all this nerd rage that is happening. You know what, I don't like some of the changes. Okay, the only change I really don't like is the fact Darth Vader goes, no. You know, I can handle it if he just goes, no! Picks up the Emperor and throws him down. I can live with that one. But it has to, apparently, it's all, no, why, God, why? Okay, yeah, I think that's a little over the top. Kind of like the way I'm doing this video. So yes, I think that's a little bit over the top. I think that's not needed, and I don't like that very much. I have to admit, I don't like that very much. But you know what? Star Wars has been parodied by everybody from Robot Chicken to a 12-year-old kid working on his home computer. George Lucas never sues anybody. George Lucas never makes people take it down. You know what? He's quite free with people taking the piss out of his intellectual property. Okay, the guy's made an absolute fortune, has made probably the largest science fiction empire and collection of stories that are going. But he lets people mock it. I mean, he even did say that Jar Jar Binks, part of the reason why Jar Jar Binks was in there was to annoy the fandom. I mean, let's face it, Jar Jar Binks, not really a surprise that he ends up handing the control of power to Palpatine. Incidentally, to anybody who don't know the fate of Jar Jar Binks, he stays on Coruscant. Jar Jar Binks is actually retcon. Well, I don't know whether you call it a retcon because it technically happens after Revenge of the Sith. But Jar Jar Binks is part of the crowd that they all rescue when Wedge Antilles and Corn Hall and Noir Event and the rest of Rogue and the rest of Rogue Squadron. Wouldn't be able to say that with a belly full of tequila. Actually, I wouldn't be able to say a lot if I had a belly full of tequila because I'd be puking everywhere, but there we go. When the rest of Rogue Squadron liberate Coruscant from the Emperor, and it begins the whole Ice Heart problems, thingamabobs, and Corran Horn, and the whole Tycho Selpu storylines, and which is a fantastic storyline, but then, to my mind, the X-Wing stories are one of the best ones of all of them, so there we go. And Jar Jar Binks is actually on Coruscant. Yes, living in pretty much anonymity, because anybody who realises who he is, like, ow, bang! There we go. So yes, the changes have been made to the Star Wars films, and the nerd rage is, of course, building, and I've gone right back to what I was saying at the very beginning. Oh well. If you don't like the Blu-ray edition, don't fricking buy it. It's really quite that simple. Where are my Star Wars films? Ha! There they are. You know what? 40 quid. 15 quid in HMV. It's all 6 films. Oh well. I mean, let's face it, they turn around and going, with 40 hours of extras! Well, who the hell wants to watch 40 hours of some 70s guy making Mos Eisley out of a toilet roll and a paper cup? I don't know, they keep advertising all these extras on DVDs. I really couldn't give a toss about the extras that are on DVDs. I want to watch the film. You know, I've got the Super Edition metallic version of the Transformers the 86 movie. And I've got the Super Metallic Edition of the Transformers 2008 movie. I haven't flipping watched the extras. The most I'll watch on an extras list is either the bloopers scenes or the deleted scenes. Though I will admit with the 86 movie I have watched the commentaries. Well, of course I have. And that was the Allen key to my longbow, which I better not lose. Anyway, so yes, there's 40 hours of extras on the Blu-ray, special editions, blah 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 blah. Well, is all I'm saying, because I really couldn't care less. Will I watch the Star Wars Blu-ray remastered yet again, remastered editions? Probably. When I go around someone's house who's got them, because I'm not bloody buying them, and I'm sure as hell not downloading them. So, but to be honest, you know, this video aside, when it comes to Star Wars, because I am a big Star Wars fan. I mean, I actually got Philly to find out when the new Star Wars Online game started. And apparently it's not starting until December, and I'm like, I was hoping you'd like the next month or two, because I want to play that one, because it could be fun. At least I can't be a protocol droid in this one. Because that looks like it's going to be fun. So I want to play that. You know, and I've got a lot of Star Wars books. I have got a lot of Star Wars books. I've got about 250 on my Kindle. But there we go. So, you know, so George Lucas has released them again. And he's remastered them again. And he's added bits and he's changed bits. And he's done this and he's done that and he's done this and he's done that. Oh well. They're his films. He can do what he bloody likes with them. And do you know why he can do what he likes with them? Because people will still buy them. He could turn around and put he could turn around, take out Harrison Ford, and put Tommy Wiseau in there as Han Solo. People would still buy it. Because when it comes to Star Wars, people will buy any shit that hits the shelf. It's the same with Stephen King. Stephen King could write an entire novel the size of it, of My Arse Stinks, and that's all it is, for 1,000 pages. People will still buy it. Because there are certain commodities in this world that people will buy regardless. Look at the amount of people who complain and moan and whinge and bitch about the Transformers films. Yeah, we all forked out money to go see them. I forked out money to go see it 3 times for the 3rd one. But then I quite liked it. Despite the fact that at this moment in time, I cannot recall what it's called. Dark of the Moon. There we go. Anyway. This isn't a Transformers video, this is a Star Wars video! Dun, dun, dun. I should have worn a lightsaber around. I'm actually getting out of breath here. Anyway, yes, that's my take on the Star Wars films and their re-release through Blu-ray. I really hope I've been consistent throughout the entirety of this video, and every time I've said Blu-ray, I've gone Blu-ray! But probably haven't. But anyway, yes, there we go. I don't care about them, to be completely honest. I've got the films, I don't need to buy them again. I'm pretty sure somewhere I've still got A New Hope knocking around on VHS. To those of you who don't know what a VHS is, it's what we had before DVDs. There we go. I bet you there's some people out there who are too young to remember videos. Well, VHS. That's scary. Anyway, yes! We all know I'm old. Star Wars is coming out, it's going to be hitting our screens on, I believe it's the 23rd of September. No doubt Amazon will be very busy packing and getting ready to send out the orders. No doubt HMV will be waiting for the deluge of nerd fans and Star Wars geeks and really bad cosplayers. If you've ever seen any Star Wars cosplayers, you've seen how bad some of them really are. Yeah, a fat man in a gold bikini. That one will stay with you. Unfortunately. Sorry, momentarily distracted by Princess Leia in gold bikini images. Anyway, yes, Star Wars is coming out on Blu-ray! You gonna buy it? Yeah? No? No? Yeah? Don't give a blooming toss about it? Well, that's the camp I'm in. He's made changes. Oh well. It's his stuff. George Lucas never leaves anything alone. We know this. But, you know what? As I said, it's his intellectual property. He can pretty much do what he likes with it. If he suddenly turns around and says, you know what, I'm not releasing them ever again. Oh, hang on, didn't he actually say they'd never been released again? They'd never have released the original trilogy again. Sure he said that. Oh well. You know what? They will get released again. But as I said, until an X-Wing is flying around my room, I really don't care. Yes, I am imagining what that would be like to have the X-Wing and TIE Fighter battle broadcast in 3D holographic illusion, similar to Star Trek. Oh no, there's an idea for a little mini-series. Star Wars setting a Star Trek holodeck. Yes. Anyway, but yes, I want to smell the exhausts! I have nothing more to say, and I realise I've actually just spent about the last 3 minutes just bouncing. Yeah, they're coming out. If you buy them, you buy them. If you fork out 60 quid for what is basically nothing new, well, that's entirely up to yourself. I mean, half the time I reckon that George Lucas actually puts these changes in just to piss people off, because it gets people talking, which, you know, as many a person has said, the only thing that's worse than being talked about in a bad way is not being talked about at all. So, it wouldn't surprise me at all to know that George Lucas was absolutely pissing himself the whole way to the bank when he makes Darth Vader in Revenge of the Sith go, no! But there we go. That is my take on the Star Wars, re-released edition. I don't give a damn.